This tutorial covers the grid functionality of ShareMyToolbox's web interface. At its conclusion, you should be familiar with sorting, filtering data, grouping tool records, and moving and resizing columns. When you log into the web interface, your initial view will be the Tools tab. There's quite a bit of flexibility with the grid, and this will be your primary method of viewing and managing your tool database, so make sure you have a good understanding of how our grid works. I would start by sizing my screen to what is comfortable for me in the monitor I'm using. For the purposes of this tutorial, I've sized the grid to fit a laptop, but my actual screen is quite a bit larger and could fit a lot more information. I'm using Chrome, so I can zoom in or out by clicking on the menu button at the top, purely a personal preference. Other browsers should have similar settings. You'll notice that if you slide the bar over at the bottom, every field on the tool record is shown. There are several things you can do to customize the information you want to see. Start by selecting the number of records on the drop-down list you would like to see per page. Note that the grid defaults to 20 records per page, so we're seeing records 1 to 20 of 221. The grid will refresh faster the fewer records you display. However, there are only a few situations where you'll need to show all the records, such as when you're exporting data. When you're exporting or doing other functions like that, then it's only going to apply to the records that you see on the screen. So use this judiciously. It's a trade-off between speed and what you're going to work with. There are several things you can do now to change how the columns appear. First of all, you can change the column width. Grab the edge of the column and just drag it over. So you can make it a lot bigger or a lot smaller. You can also drag a column to a new position. So for example, if I want category near the beginning, I can drag it over and drop it in a different spot. Say I want it right beside manufacturer or beside tool title. Dragged it a little bit too far there. You notice how the insertion will change between the columns to show you where it's going to drop. You can also hide columns. You do that by clicking on any of the menu drop-downs shown on the column, the little drop-down arrow. Click on the column option and then uncheck which things you don't want to see. So if I don't want to see the URLs, some of the custom fields, the rental information, I can just deselect all that. And those will go away. So now you notice I slide over, all that extra information is gone. You can also lock and unlock columns using the same menu drop down. So go down to the bottom and notice by default it's locked on tool title. This is very similar to freezing columns in Excel. So if I want to also lock the description, I can go down and lock that one, and now the slide bar changes to that. Or I can lock a column. If I want to unlock tool title, I can do that. When you get the grid in a format that you like, to save those options, just click Save My Grid to save your changes. If you exit the system and go back in, or you click Page Refresh up here at the top, then you're going to revert back to your default format. So it does not save that format. What you have to do to retrieve that saved format is click Load My Grid. Then it'll put it back like you've had it. There are also a lot of neat features of the grid that allow you to search and report on the tool database. You can sort on any column by, there's actually two ways. You can click on the column. Let's take category for example. If we click on that column, it'll sort ascending, or click again, it'll sort descending. Or if we click on the menu drop down, then we also have sort ascending and descending options. To filter data, Now this is something you're going to want to get a little bit used to. Click on the menu drop down and select filter, and we've got two filter options. So what you want to do to keep this in place, this is a little bit tricky here, so if you just move the cursor over and down, you notice how it goes away. So what you want to do is click on something. You want to click on is equal to and select something. That will lock the selections in place. So click on the Boolean operator first, and everything will stay in place. I suggest you start by clicking contains. That seems to work the best with the grid tool we're using, and then enter a value. So let's say I'm on the description column. I want to select anything that contains drill, and I'm going to click filter. Now notice the other options. I can do an and or operator here, and then I have filter and clear. So when I click filter, it's going to start that function. If I want to get rid of it later on, then I need to come back and hit clear to remove those filters. So now it's going to search for anything in this description record that contains drill. And note this is quite a big field, so it could return quite a few records. In fact, I got 28 items that have drill somewhere in the description. So the display options for filter depend on the type of data, whether it's a text field, a numeric field, a true-false statement, a date field. Lots of different fields there that we have in the system. So some of the options will change depending on that column type. Just remember, if you do select filter, then you'll want to remember what you did filter so that you can go back and clear that out to get all your data. It does not give you any kind of indicator what was filtered. It would be nice if it did on the column, but that's not a default to the grid tool that we're using to display ShareMyToolbox's data. Another nice feature of the grid is the grouping bar. See where it says drag a column and drop it here to group by that column. Note in the lower right hand corner that I have 221 items in my database. If you have a large database, start by changing the items per page to the maximum. So instead of the default of 20, I'm going to select all. The grouping results displayed will be a lot cleaner if you do this first. For example, if you display 20 items per page, the groups will overlap multiple pages if you exceed 20 records. So let's take a category and drop it up here, the grouping bar. So now we can see our data grouped by category. Lots of nice ways to group the data. For example, by employee, you've loaned the tool. I'm going to click the X on category, and we're going to go select employee now, or loan to. Drag that up there. So to collapse a group, you click on the triangle beside the group, and this is loan to no one, so we're going to collapse that one. And now we've got all the different connections that we've loaned tools to. Note that in addition to displaying a total record count at the bottom, 221 records, and a purchase price of $103,000, we've also got it subtotaled by group. So if I go to the bottom of Tim's group, he's got quite a few things outstanding. In fact, he's got 31 tools for a total value of $14,739.15. That's a pretty nice feature. So we're subtotaling by group and also totaling for the entire database. It's also possible to have more than one group. So if I want to total or group by the employee it's loaned to, and I want to group by category, I can drag that up there. And that'll show me, let me collapse a couple of them. Get down to Tim's crew. So Tim has quite 5 benchtop tools. He's got a chop saw, 1 circular saw, a bunch of drills, 8 drills. That's pretty neat. So lots of ways you can do things with the grouping. Lots of flexibility and power with our web grids, so experiment, have a little fun with it. For an additional reporting option, make sure to watch our tutorial on exporting to Excel. This concludes our grid tutorial. Thank you very much.